Peace and love. Sending you all positive energy, high vibes, success on your entrepreneurship, all love, all positivity. Today, I'm going to be speaking about the original Holy Trinity. How is it celebrated in African descent? Okay? African descent. We all have different seasons that happens in different hemispheres. For an example, in the northern hemisphere, we have summer. So, the southern hemisphere will have winter. Okay? Opposite hemispheres, opposite seasons. Two poles to everything in the universe, two opposites to create something beautiful. So, in the southern hemisphere, for African descent, they celebrate the original Holy Trinity, which is Asar, Aset, and Harut. Okay? This is where the story of Jesus Christ derived from ancient Kemetic. The knowledge is now crystallized and is spreaded throughout the universe. Okay? So, they celebrate winter solstice, and it's symbolic to death and rebirth of the sun. Okay? It's also symbolic to celebration of the original Holy Trinity, Asar, Aset, and Harut. Okay? It is celebrated around June the 21st and June the 22nd, the day's spirit. Okay? The sun goes down and it's at its darkest moment in the winter solstice. Okay? The sun goes into a stage of Sakar, meaning the farthest away from us. Okay? Once the sun go in the stage of Sakar, that is celebrated in African descent on the winter solstice, it takes on a different name for each cycle. Okay? It transforms a different cycle each hour. Okay? So, it shows us death and rebirth. Okay? It shows us how a set got impregnated by her dead husband that went to the afterlife spirit and had conceived a son, which is Harut. Okay? Always be familiar with that. Also, when we think of the different names the sun took on, it took on Duat. That is symbolic to the separation of the hemisphere in astrology. Also, separation of life and death. So, for an example, in Western astrology, the northern hemisphere is at the bottom. That's symbolic to the dark. The southern hemisphere is at the top. That is symbolic to the light in the heavens. For us to have the understanding of correspondence. What happens on in the physical world, physical realm, also happens in the underworld, the darkness. And we're going to have to experience darkness in order to access the light. Okay? They also had a death and rebirth ritual that they did, where the deceased ancestors will transform into the birds and communicate to the netters and the healers in Kemet. They also performed a powerful ritual of nourishment of the soul, connecting, giving the soul nourishment of water, food, senses to hear, tapping into the five senses to have the understanding that after death, there's always life. We can communicate to the deceased. So they did these powerful rituals, and they created these powerful allegories just so we can have the understanding of death and rebirth, okay? That we're going to have the darkest moments in our life, and they are for growth and expansion. They for us to discern our path, see which way that we want to go in life, see what we can add on that is essential for our path, see what we need to release so that we can grow and elevate and become more powerful, more strong, and more limitless. Okay? This is the original Trinity. Okay? And where I'm out in the sun, so excuse me. The bugs, I'm out in nature. So the bugs are just flying. But this is to show us the energy of soul evolution. Okay, because we have divine masculine, divine feminine, and also the child. We have union of the mind, the body, and the spirit. Spiritual discernment. Okay, we're going to have those dark initiations, dark times, not so good times, and they are symbolic to growth and expansion. Also, the sun took on the name of the coffin one. That was symbolic to the nourishment of the soul. Being able to have the understanding, there's an underworld, there's darkness. This is the darkest time of the winter solstice, okay? And it's symbolic to us going inside like the bear, hibernating, coming up with great creative ideas, coming up with things to discern our past, coming up with powerful inspiration of life, and exploring each aspect of the world and also ourselves to help us to have soul evolution. Okay, so this is a great time if we are African descent to tap in still and help us align perfectly with nature by having the understanding that the winter solstice is celebrated June the 21st or 22nd. Okay, once we are familiar with our African origins, it just helps us to be in complete alignment. Okay, so this goes for all traditions as well. You know, they can take on the knowledge, and it's for soul evolution. It's for us to be able to embody love, to embody a higher level of consciousness, also to sit down, put our mind in a state of calmness, okay? Go into purging and be able to create from the dark space. When we are tapping into our calmness, it helps us to tap into heart coherence, to resonate with the harmonizing field. It helps us to manifest beautiful things when we're in the darkness. So the dark is also important and vital as the light. And that's what the ancient ancestors wanted us to have the understanding of. Okay? The darkness make us who we are today. It shape our character. It gives us inspiration. It gives us drive, love, passion, creativity, in connection with a higher source. But we must first know what was to know what is. Okay, so I just wanted to come on and shed some light of the winter solstice, how it's celebrated if we're African descent. Also, for all traditions to be able to tune in to the knowledge and be able to take it to help us grow on a high frequency of love. We had the northern hemisphere that celebrates Jesus Christ. Okay, all knowledge is crystallized, and we can all access it to help us vibrate on a high frequency of love. Is this something that's resonating with our soul? I love you all. I'm sending you all positive energy, high vibes, and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. You hit the like button and you leave me any comments or questions in my description below. I love you. I love you. I love you. I'll be back with more.